I don't want to. Coming up, going back to school. It's never too late and you're never too old.
A new dictionary that could make an unfamiliar language a little more familiar.
And we'll be traveling around to see a new monument for one of our nation's greatest leaders. All this and more is next on Time for Living.
Welcome to Time for Living. I'm Janet Jagalia.
And I'm Howard Nielsen. On today's show, we're going back to school, taking a tour of a new memorial.
And we'll learn about a new book that's making clear old terms that have new meanings for some.
And of course, you'll see today's Medical Minute and Health, Finance, and more, so let's get started.
With downsizing in corporate America increasing at a rapid pace, many employees are finding themselves without jobs or becoming entrepreneurs.
Yet another segment of the population is going back to school to increase their marketability or to learn skills in another industry.
What's unique about this new student population is not just their age, but their life experience. And as Steve Brown explains, they are not the only ones benefiting from their attendance.
I tell all of the people that I work with, just give it a shot, try it, because you're really very bright, but if you don't feel it inside and don't make that leap, then you're never going to know and you're never going to challenge yourself.
Susan Morrissey is challenging herself every day. Susan is enrolled in a master's nursing program at Regis College. She is one of thousands of older students who have returned to the classroom.
Going to school takes a lot of self-discipline. I mean, especially if you're working and trying to, raise children. I think school's taught me a lot about focusing on goals, and it's helped me a lot in my career at work, in the management level. It's helped me to really focus, but also, more than that, to look beyond and to be a visionary.
For Susan Morrissey, going to school has an added bonus. One of her fellow students is her own daughter.
All my friends are jealous because I always get to go see my mom, but my mom talks to them too, and they call her mom too. Like, how's mom? We got to go see her.
While unusual for a mother and daughter to be enrolled in the same college, the sight of older students in college classrooms is not unusual. Every year, more and more older adults are taking the plunge and going back to school.
It's the reality of where education is today, because with certainly the uncertainty of the economy, people are feeling more and more that they need to be continually educating themselves, picking up new skills, new knowledge, new information.
But the older students aren't the only ones reaping the benefits. Educators agree the older student has a lot to offer the institution as a whole.
Every student is unique and individual and special. And you can't say that just because they're older or younger, they're all very different. In some of my classes, I do have some young women who are coming right out of nursing, their basic nursing program, 21, 22. In the same classroom, I can have somebody who is like Susan, mature, and it just adds a lot of flavor to the class, and they learn from each other. I learn from them.
For a lot of our traditional age students, Ronald Reagan is now a dimming memory, and Jimmy Carter is sort of Jurassic Park. So, when you have older students coming back to class, they can share some observations about politics in the past that a lot of our students who are 18 to 21 really don't know very much about.
For older students, the decision to go to college is not an easy one. Susan Morrissey admits she returned to school with some trepidation.
I was really scared. I was older and didn't know if I had what it would take, and they were wonderful. They sat me down, and I'm very goal-oriented, said, here's what you do this year and that year, and it wasn't overwhelming. It was, it was doable. And so I started taking nursing courses on the weekend because I work full-time, so the weekend option was great for me. And then when I graduated in June, I wanted to come back here for my master's.
Advice from educators to older students: you can do it.
I think a lot of our students who are thinking about coming back to college hesitate. They worry about not fitting in. They worry that they'll feel uncomfortable. They'll be the only person in the class who's over the age of 21. It's not true anymore.
I had Women in Society where it was probably 3/4 of the traditional students and then 1/4 of us seasoned students. The first week, it's like, they look at us and we look at them. By week 2, it's, we're the give and take is wonderful. I mean, we really enjoy it, and there's no putting anybody down because, oh, you're 17, or I don't feel any resentment from them, like, oh, they think they know it all because they're older. But it really, it's fun. I enjoy it.
Having her daughter enrolled at the college enables Susan to enjoy school even more. Judy hopes her mom extends her classes so that they can graduate together in 1998. I'm Steve Brown. Time for Living.
When Time for Living continues, we'll meet a great-grandmother who's making the grade at Harvard University. So stay with us.
I love to read. I love to study. I love to get information. I want knowledge. Never too late. Never too late. I urge people to go back to school. Whoever drops out, I always urge them to go back because you're never too late. Never.
Welcome back to Time for Living. We've been talking about continuing education and the new student who's going back to school. My guest today is one of those students. She is Mary Fasado, a great-grandmother who is graduating from Harvard University this year at the ripe young age of 89. The mother of 5 decided to give up her business for the opportunity to continue her education. She's also joined by one of her most avid supporters and proudest fans, her daughter, Marta Guggens. Welcome to Time for Living, both of you. It's a pleasure to have you here.
Pleasure to be here.
You know, your story is one of such inspiration and wonderment, and I'm sure it's one that people are very anxious to hear. What motivated you, and when did it all get started, this desire to continue with your education?
Well, it was a vow I had made to myself when I was 14 years old. I was taken out of school and I became very bitter for it because I was a good student and I loved school. So right there and then I made a vow that no matter how old I would be, someday I would go back and continue my education.
And how many years did it take you to begin to fulfill that vow?
It took me 18 long years.
From the time you
started.
From 14 until when?
No, I started at 1971 until now.
So quite a bit of time elapsed from the time that you were taken out of school at age 14
Yes.
and had to work, and then you were married, and then you raised a family, and you started a business, and then when did you finally decide? Why did you decide?
Well, my husband had passed away, and I sold the business so I thought that was my chance to go back to school, and I couldn't do it running a business. So I sold it, and I went to high school. And from high school, I went to Harvard. And
not many people can say that, you know.
Well, I'm very proud of what I'm doing because I loved school. And but when I had the diner, I did what I wanted to do. I made sure my children had an education.
So she was a role model for you, Marta, and the other children as well, obviously.
Oh, definitely.
Now, what was it like when she said she was going to sell the business to go to school? What was your reaction?
Well, we knew she would always go back to school someday because her first thought she worked 2 and 3 jobs to put us all through private school in the days when the working class parents didn't send their children to private school. And I think in her mind it was, well, if I paid, they got a better education. And in the days when she treated daughters and sons alike, when that was somewhat, unheard of in those days.
That's true.
And so both my sister and my brothers and I, we were all afforded that opportunity way back when.
But when she finally said, I'm going to school, I'm going to sell the business, did you say, that's great, Mom, but is it really a smart thing to do at this point?
We would never say that to her.
Because she ruled the roost, right?
Exactly, but we knew she was so into education with all of us, and she always said it was her dream.
All right, what was it like when you first decided to go back and get your GED? You decided that this was what you had to do first? It was part of the odyssey of completing your dream.
Right.
And was it difficult?
Very difficult.
Tell me
Very
about it.
difficult. I was going to, I went in the first week, and I said, what am I doing here? I couldn't even write a sentence. I said, I don't belong here. I better give it up. But then I went the second week, and I found it better, and I continued. And I was happy for doing it then, that I didn't stop,
Was it difficult for you to, as an older person, to go to school with a lot of younger people who were trying to get their GED?
Never fazed me.
Did you think about it?
I went for one purpose, just to learn. And if they looked at me or they stared at me, it didn't make a bit of difference. I was there to learn, and that's all that mattered to me.
What about the teachers? You were probably older than the teachers as well.
Oh, they thought it was a good thing. They thought it was great for me to go back to school.
Did you have an advisor? Do you have anyone that you turned to for help?
Absolutely. I had an advisor. Her name was Susan Spreadberry. And she was the one that advised me all through my college education, and she was excellent. She was like a daughter to me, really.
When you got your GED, though, did you feel as though, whew, that's it, I've done it, I've fulfilled my ambition, and that was it? Or had you decided before you got your GED that you were going to go further?
Oh, I knew I would go further. I wouldn't stop there.
Did you ever get nervous before tests?
Well, I tell you, I went to high school and I got all A's, and I was surprised. I was a slow starter, but by the time I finished, there was an A there.
Did you have Marta help you with your homework, studying for exams?
Nobody helped me.
Oh, I did.
I did it on my own.
She's saying she did.
I did. But I did.
She took the exams,
She was a supporter.
Well, I typed one paper for her.
Oh, yeah.
The paper was supposed to be in the third person, unbeknownst to me. So she asked me to type it. And as I'm typing it, I said, this is all wrong. She's doing too much in the third person. So I immediately went and changed it all.
Oh, dear.
Only to find that she got it back. She was so upset because she got a C-, which she had never gotten her entire educational career. And the footnote was, Mary, you did not follow my direction.
Yeah.
So she could not go back to the professor and told her that my daughter did this.
All right, then of course you learned from that mistake and you never made that one again, I'm sure.
No, I written all in handwriting after that.
All right, but Harvard University, why did you choose Harvard? There's a lot of colleges and prestigious universities around this area.
I tell you, there was a girl in school in my class that was working at Harvard at the time, and she said to me, Mary, why don't you try Harvard? It's a beautiful college. I said, well, I don't know any other one, so I guess that's where I'll go.
What did you think when she said, I'm going to Harvard?
Well, in the meantime, I had decided after 25 years to go back and complete my degree. So I said to her, why don't you come with me to UMass? You know, I'll schedule our classes around each other. You won't have to take the T into Cambridge and get home late at night 3-4 nights a week. And she immediately turned to me and said, no, you go to UMass, I'm going to Harvard. So that's how it ended up.
And you're very proud of your decision.
Oh, absolutely.
Now you commuted by T, is that how you went to school?
Always.
Was the T near your home so you didn't have too far to walk?
No, I had to wait for the bus or take a cab home. If I had to wait for the bus and then wait an hour, I would take the cab. But if I only had 5 minutes to wait, then I would wait.
And rain or snow didn't deter you?
No, didn't bother me.
What about your health?
I always had good health until 2 years ago that I had to take time off from school.
But you always took a full load of schedules, or how many classes were you taking?
No, just one class at a time. I had to do it thoroughly.
That's a sensible approach. But what was your first class at Harvard? What was the course? Do you remember?
Well, I think it was related to Italy. Arts and Italy, because I left Harvard for 2 years just to go to Italy, but in the meantime I had taken 2 classes in Italian. I had taken 2 or 3 art classes. Then I had to leave school for, I think, a couple of years to go to Italy twice so that I could enjoy what I had studied.
Were you fluent in Italian before this?
Well, I had my dialect. I wasn't fluent in the Tuscan language, but my dialect. And I spoke Italian when I went to Italy, and it was a different thing. They loved it. They were very friendly towards me because I spoke the language.
I went to Italy, but I only spoke English. But I was treated very nicely, I have to admit.
Yeah.
But tell me about some of the harder courses that you took that were more challenging for you.
It's what I had taken these last 2 courses, writing.
Writing?
Very difficult. But somehow or other, it's pulled me in and I can't let it go. And I'm still going, sitting in classes, just ordering them and taking more English class, more writing class, because I love it.
You're going to focus on the area that's given you the most difficulty.
Yes, because I can't conquer it as fast as I want to. So I'm going to do it until I have conquered it.
Did you ever begin to lose the enthusiasm or say, did I bite off more than I could chew?
No.
And did you have to turn to your children to say, you know, maybe this was not the smartest thing at this stage of my life?
No.
Never?
No.
And you're here to witness that, Marta?
No, I love it.
No, she was never like that throughout the 18 years. The only time I'd get frustrated a few times because she was so into the thirst for the knowledge. She would take classes just to take classes. She would not take them for credit. And I would say to her, if you're going to do this, don't worry about getting an A all the time.
Right.
Take them and at least take them for credit, because we know in the end she is going to get a good mark.
Did you ever have any conflict between going to school and family, or spending time with the family because you had a paper due and there was a christening of one of your great-grandchildren or something?
No, I worked in the catering business just the same, but it was weekend work. I wasn't idle, I just didn't study. I mean, our work consists of like the weekend mostly, and I was always in there helping them.
So you were working as well as going to school?
Absolutely.
That's usually for people who were in their 20s.
Well, I still go in when they're in a bind.
I want to ask you this. Was it tougher going to school or running a business?
She runs the business.
No.
But when you were running the business and then you left it, you sold it and went to school, was it tougher running a business, or is it tougher going to school?
I didn't find it tough to run the business because I had been lady in my life, all my life, so I had a sense of managing. So I didn't find it tough at all. And I ran it right. I ran it.
And is it now still running right?
Well, I sold it, but oh yeah, with her. Yes, yeah.
So now you're still continuing to think about going to get more education.
Right.
But tell me about the courses that were the most, you said writing was the most difficult. Was there any other that was really tough for you and you said, you know, I just don't understand this? Were there any like math type courses or language courses or things that you had to get assistance with in any way?
I plugged in there until I got it. I put my head in there and I studied and studied until I got it.
Did you work with other students in the class as well?
Oh yes, in writing classes we have workshops, and the feedback we get is, you know, it's good because they give us feedback and I give it to them, and we're like four in a group, and very interesting.
Tell me about working with other students. These are probably students of all different ages.
Oh, absolutely.
And what was it like to work with them? Did they have a healthy respect for what you were doing?
Very good. Very good. In fact, I didn't want to go the last night, and my two boyfriends that are in my group, you've got to come. You've got to come. We can't come without you. We can't have it. Really, they are very respectful, very nice.
Because in that little piece that we saw before we started our little conversation, it was obvious that sometimes people are intimidated by someone of a different age, or they may turn to you because you have had a life experience that they have not had an opportunity yet
what they tell me
to have. So you bring a frame of reference and reality to history for them. But it was just life experience for you.
In fact, I wrote so much about my family that when they come to the party, they want to meet certain ones that I wrote about.
Do you have any people that you're going to marry these friends off to in your family?
No.
Not yet? I'm only joking. I mean, you've probably established some wonderful relationships with these students.
Yes, I have.
And these will probably be lifelong relationships that you will keep.
Yeah.
And I'm sure they feel equally about their association with you. But you do things together, you keep in touch.
Oh, yes. In fact, when I went to school at first, the young students used to look at me and say, what is this old woman doing here? But before I ended, they would open the door to let me walk in. I couldn't believe it.
Ever have any difficulty getting to class because of any weather or?
No.
No problems? Nothing ever kept you?
Nothing kept me from going except when Harvard would close, which had only happened, I think, twice in my lifetime. That it was snowed so badly that they closed. And in fact, I went in to go to my writing class because they had a workshop too at Grossman's Hall, and my advisor, Susan, she signed me up for it because I would bring my papers and they would help me with, you know, go over the papers. And they had closed and couldn't get in touch with me, and I had gone in there. And they were sorry because they hadn't gotten in touch with me early enough. I said, oh, that's all right.
Amazing. Yeah. Did you ever say to your mother, you've got a cold, you really should stay in tonight, it's pouring rain, or it's 20 below, or something to that effect?
Wouldn't have done her any good.
But did she say it?
I probably did.
Sure, she did.
The only thing I always would say to her is, if you're going to be late, you know, call us.
Yeah.
And And one time she was taking an astrology class, and it was 11 o'clock at night, and she wasn't home. And I got out of my house, went down the T, 11:30, she's not home. Called my other daughter to go check on her house, she's still not home. I had to call Harvard Security, and there she was up in
With a telescope?
with a telescope, looking at
the stars.
the stars, I assume.
Is that an
Well, I didn't
assignment?
have a
or-
chance to get out
And
to
she
call.
just, and I said, how many years did you tell us, you know, get that diamond call? She, and
Should
it
have
was,
gotten her a cell phone. She could have kept her with her.
we have that problem. No, I'm afraid she'll leave it on the T.
Oh, okay, okay. Now tell me about the message you would like to give others who are thinking about going back to school to finish either a high school equivalency or to go on to college.
I always tell them to stick with it and go back, because someday they're going to need it. Because others come up to me and they said, oh, I left school. Oh, I'm just an average. I says, it doesn't make any difference if you're just an average. Stay in there and work hard at it, and you'll get what you want.
What were your grades?
Yeah.
What were your grades?
They were always B's, B's. At this age, I can't get an A. I got an A minus in math, but, you know, which my advisor thought it was great.
Why can't you get an A?
Oh, because sometimes I say, well, that's enough. That's enough to give her.
She is an honor student.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's
You know,
wonderful.
She is.
Sometimes I don't feel like working and writing too much. I say, oh, that's enough. Let me pass.
Well,
as long as I pass.
I think it's not enough. I think you have been an inspiration to many, and I hope that your family, I'm sure they are totally proud of everything you've
they are.
accomplished, and you have been really an inspiration to others. And thank you so much, both of you, for joining us
I hope
today.
not everything went on.
When Time for Living continues, a new dictionary that's making sense out of elder care terms. Meet the man who created it when we come back, so stay with us.
Welcome back to Time for Living. I'm Howard Nielsen.
And I'm Janet Jagalian.
When it comes to elder care, trying to decipher all the terms related to elder care can be intimidating.
For instance, what's the difference between Medicare and Medicaid? What is COBRA or COLAs? Well, in today's Second Effort Salute, Mary Norton introduces us to a man who decided to put all these unfamiliar words into one easy-to-understand book.
Caring for an aging relative is a growing concern for many Americans. Learning all the terms related to caregiving can be like learning a new language.
You go someplace and you think you can get all the answers, but that's only one piece of it. What about assisted living? What's available in the community? What about help that's available in the home.
Several years ago, Walter Feldsman needed to find information for his aging mother-in-law.
It was a challenge because I knew to say so little would be an overstatement. I knew nothing about the field, really.
So he decided to do some research. He read as much as he could on the subject of elder care, took notes along the way, and realized,
if I'm having all this difficulty understanding what this is all about, I said, how about the American public?
That's when Mr. Feldsman decided to take all the information he had gathered and put it into one book called Dictionary of Elder Care Terminology.
It's not only a dictionary in the sense of a dictionary where words are alphabetically arranged in this particular subject, but it also has 10 overviews of the major subjects. And the subjects are all brought close together, and the words in the dictionary are functionalized. My mission is to educate, and I'm hopeful that America becomes increasingly aware sufficiently so that they will plan, so that they're not merely talking about retirement planning and estate planning, but they're talking about long-term care planning.
At 79 years of age, Walter Feldsman is fulfilling his mission. I'm Mary Norton reporting.
For more information on how to get your own copy of the Dictionary of Elder Care Terminology, contact the United Seniors Health Cooperative at 202-393-6222. That's 202-393-6222.
When Time for Living continues, we'll take a trip to Washington, D.C. to see the latest tribute to Franklin Delano Roosevelt. So pack your bags. Traveling Around is coming your way next. Welcome back to Time for Living. It's time for our Traveling Around segment, where we bring you to exotic and historical places around the world.
Today, we decided to take you on a tour of an historical monument. The new Franklin Delano Roosevelt Memorial opened recently in Washington, D.C., paying tribute to the nation's 32nd president.
In his 12 years in office, Roosevelt helped steer the country out of the Great Depression and emerged victorious from World War II. Now, visitors to the memorial can get a deep emotional understanding of what it was like living during the FDR era. Washington, D.C. is today's Traveling Around destination.
The new FDR Memorial is spread out over 7 acres of beautifully landscaped architecture. Cascading waterfalls, Japanese-style gardens, and fine-crafted bronze sculptures with engraved quotes from the great leader are featured throughout the 4 open rooms, which depict the social climate of the 4 terms Roosevelt was in office.
I wanted to show how people felt during the Depression, and the most famous images connected with that were people standing on the breadline.
My mother fed us for a week on $1.38.
The memorial has opened a floodgate of memories for those who lived during the FDR era. Many recalled his fireside chats during the Great Depression.
And we all listened because he had a lot of foresight. We were all sure he was going to make everything better. And in every way he did.
No matter what was wrong, he could say the right thing and bring people together just by the words that he used and the way he expressed such confidence.
Others remembered the hope he restored with the social programs that he began.
I had a job because of FDR, as did millions of other young boys.
Then came World War II.
One of the things I remember about the Second World War was how supportive everyone was of the war effort, and every family had people in the service.
But it was his sudden and untimely death that stirred the most painful memories.
When I found out he died, I was just heartbroken, because I didn't see how we could go on without someone like this.
The FDR Memorial not only pays tribute to the great leader, but to the generation of Americans who endured the pain and triumph of his time. I'm Mary Norton reporting.
FDR certainly got much more than he wanted as a memorial, which was nothing more than a block of stone.
And the total cost was $48 million, of which $42.5 million was raised through public funds.
When Time for Living continues, we'll get some expert financial advice from Health, Finance, and More Steve Burke, so stay with us.
Welcome back to Time for Living. When it comes to keeping our financial house in order, investments, checking, and savings accounts and bills are usually what we focus on.
However, perhaps more importantly, but often overlooked, is our estate planning. Since nobody wants to plan for the hereafter by organizing what we leave behind, it's obvious why this aspect of financial planning is least likely to be taken care of. But as Steve Burke tells us in this week's Health, Finance, and More, it will alleviate a lot of stress for those we leave behind.
Today's question is a simple one. What's the best way to pass on my estate assets to my family or charitable organizations which I may want to help? The answer is very simple. There is no one best way, but there are a number of options available which should help you to achieve your goal. You have heard me say that there is a lot of help out there, and there is. Your attorney, accountant, life insurance person, or financial planner can be of great help, especially if you have a good idea of what you want to accomplish. This is very important. If you don't know where you're going, any road will take you there. But most of us know what we'd like to happen after we're gone. Sadly, a great many fail to deal with this eventuality and as a result have their assets improperly used or given to recipients which would not be their preference. Some basic ideas then to help you get things distributed the way you want. First, a will. Many people feel they don't have enough assets so that everything will go to my spouse or family automatically, so they don't need a will. That's flat out wrong. If you don't have at least a simple will, your estate will be handled by bureaucrats. While they are generally good and decent people, they don't have a clue as to how or where you want your assets to go. To die intestate, that is without a will, creates confusion for everyone and unnecessary cost. A will doesn't need to be too involved. It can be very basic and let a trust handle the more complex plans you have. However, a trust is not always a proper approach to estate planning because it may be unnecessary, creating unnecessary cost to your estate and more fine-tuning than your executor should have to deal with. So don't jump on the trust wagon without checking its value to you and yours. You should use the KISS principle in estate planning. Keep it simple as you possibly can. This hopefully minimizes questions about what you really wanted to happen and relieves your executor of having to make Solomon-like decisions. Like anything these days, there are reasons to have a trust and reasons not to have one. There are trusts which can create problems for your descendants and trusts which can be of great help to those who come after. Provably, this makes a strong case for getting some professional help. Those people mentioned before and possibly others. Before you call for help, however, it's good to put down your thoughts and wishes in non-legal language. This should be done when you're relaxed and willing to make important decisions because it removes strain. It is an unhappy chore to try to make even-handed judgments when you're under stress. You know certain things already. A will is very important. Also, you probably know the able, responsible person you'd like to act as your executor or executrix. You and your spouse have a good sense of the monetary abilities of your children or family members. These are practical things to consider. Additionally, you should be aware that as the law stands today, you can bequeath all your assets to a spouse without tax, but the exemption most of us can look forward to is $600,000, except for a spouse. Beware. Having heard all this, you're probably saying, I'll just get a will, consider the use, if worthwhile, of the $600,000 exemption and appoint an executor, and that will be that, thank goodness. Not so fast. One other fact to keep in mind is that laws relating to estates will probably change more than once in our lifetime. Because of this, you should check your estate plan regularly. Situations such as divorce or deaths in the family, as well as unfortunate sicknesses, can change the way you feel you should dispose of your assets, or cause your will to be outdated or improper. To quote Yogi Berra, it's not over till it's over. Other areas of consideration, special requests for family members or organizations, charitable requests which often have tax advantages. Scrutinize irrevocable trusts before entering into one because they are what they say, irrevocable, which means they might create problems in the future. Make sure, too, that the legal language is clear to you, that it seems to be addressing your desires and concerns. Good attorneys always are happy to take the time to clarify areas that may be a little unclear. To summarize, we all need wills, be they ever so humble. See your attorney. Put your plans and wishes on paper so that you can talk to an advisor in real terms and they get a better idea of your decisions subject to the law, taxes, and the advisor's suggestions. Remember the KISS approach. Keep it simple as you sensibly can. Keep your plan flexible to handle future changes caused by family changes, tax law changes, or just plain changes. Unless it makes an awful lot of sense, stay away from trusts which are irrevocable. Other kinds of trusts may have merit. Generally, under $600,000 of estate assets can be dealt with without becoming too involved. But solicit advice about the merits of what you're planning from an estate planner, attorney, accountant, or other financial advisor. This is Steve Burke, Time for Living.
If you have any additional questions regarding any financial topics discussed on Time for Living, then write to Steve Burke at Time for Living, care of Health Care, Finance, and More, P.O. Box 8452, Boston, Massachusetts, 02114.
Or you can leave your comments or questions on our voicemail by calling 800-232-7213 or fax us at 617-329-1774. We'd love to hear from you. When we come back, if you don't have the time to take care of your parents or grandparents, there is help out there. Find out where when we come back.
Welcome back to Time for Living. When it comes to making time for taking care of our parents or grandparents, there never seems to be enough. As we learned in our second effort salute today, the search and terminology for the right facility can be overwhelming and time-consuming. But don't give up yet. As Carolyn Murdoch tells us, there is a new service that's addressing these issues.
Every now and then, Gary Goldman entertains his mother and many older people at her adult daycare center. At the end of the day, Alma will return to her assisted living facility, all arranged by a geriatric care manager.
Really what this did, this allowed me, as a man with a family, 3 children, married, to have peace of mind, to be able to work and know that somebody was there at all times and there was coverage.
Goldman called on care manager Beth Scoville. Beth is a nurse with a background in gerontology. She runs Senior Connections, a care management company and an adult daycare center. The idea is to relieve the stress of caregiving.
It's stressful because most people are working. They have their own families, children to care for, careers. It's very difficult to manage someone's care and be there when it's needed.
Care managers assess the situations of older family members. They make recommendations to family, implement services that best suit their needs, and monitor progress. They act as the link between families and community services.
We refer to just about anything, all the way down to having someone come in and turn a small coat closet into a powder room, enabling someone to stay on the first floor of their row home.
While care managers can be costly, most families say they've saved in the long run by making the right decisions.
These people are trained. These people have made the calls. These people have gone through the crisis. They've seen the crisis from other people. They know where to call. They know what to advise.
Most often, families need guidance in the appropriate services. Sometimes people are jumping too quickly to hourly help in the home, which can be very costly, or they're jumping to the nursing home placement before it's absolutely necessary.
And with proper guidance, families can feel relieved their loved ones are getting proper care. I'm Carolyn Murdoch. Time for Living.
Well, they sure found a niche for their service.
They certainly did.
Now, in our medical minute, urinary incontinence, the unexpected leakage of urine, affects 15 to 30% of older adults. About 50% of those with this problem experience their incontinence on a daily or weekly basis.
And while the medical and psychological toll is high, the economic cost of incontinence is estimated to be about $14 million a year. Most people do not seek medical help for urinary incontinence, and this is unfortunate because incontinence is not just a part of aging, and because multiple studies have shown that urinary incontinence can be managed and even cured without invasive surgery in a large number of instances.
Many adults adapt their lifestyle to the fact of being incontinent or worrying about it. In 1/3 of older adults, the onset of incontinence is due to transient causes. That means it is not the result of some fixed, untreatable problem in the urinary system. Dr. Alan Abrams tells us what the solutions are in this week's Medical Minute.
Here are some of the most common reversible causes of transient urinary incontinence in older adults. Just remember the word diapers, misspelled, and created by Dr. Neil Resnick at the Brigham and Women's Hospital, and make sure your physician is familiar with it too. D stands for delirium or confusion, caused momentarily by alcohol ingestion commonly or other treatable medical conditions. I stands for infections of the urinary tract. Incontinence may be the only symptom. A stands for atrophic urethritis vaginitis. Postmenopausal women not receiving hormone replacement can experience urgency to void and leakage remedied by the use of estrogens. P stands for pharmaceuticals. Everything from anti-anxiety drugs to allergy pills, cardiac medications, and pain medications can cause incontinence. If your incontinence coincides with the start of a new medication or a new dose of an old medication, discuss the potential role it may play with your physician. P also stands for psychologic. Depression or other psychologic conditions rarely result in incontinence, but continence requires the interest and will to go to the bathroom, and any psychologic condition which affects that will and interest can be a factor. E stands for excessive excretion. Medical conditions such as uncontrolled diabetes and heart conditions, as well as thyroid and calcium problems, can lead to incontinence. Ingestions of large amounts of fluid, especially at the end of the day, may increase urine production and lead to leakage. Caffeine, found in coffee and diet drinks, can only accentuate this. R stands for restricted mobility. This not only includes new sprains and strains, but new visual impairment, deconditioning from illness, and other medical problems which might slow you down, making getting to the bathroom in a timely way impossible. Keeping a toilet closer to you or improving your speed getting there will solve the problem. S stands for stool impaction or severe constipation. Treating the bowels relieves not only the constipation, but also the incontinence of urine. Urinary incontinence is treatable in most instances. No older adult should restrict themselves from the activities they enjoy because they have not told their physician about their problem. Not all causes of urinary incontinence are completely curable, but a large portion of them are. Remember, your quality of life, self-esteem, and independence are worth fighting for. Ask your physician to help you if you haven't been evaluated for incontinence, and go armed with all this new information. This is Dr. Alan Abrams with your Medical Minute.
If you have any questions regarding any medical topics discussed on Time for Living, then write to Dr. Alan Abrams at Time for Living, care of Medical Minute, P.O. Box 8452, Boston, Massachusetts, 02114.
Or you can leave your comments or questions on our voicemail by calling 800-232-7213 or fax us at 617-329-1774. We'd love to hear from you.
We'll have more Time for Living in just a moment. Stay with us. Before we leave, we'd like to give you our address and phone numbers one last time so you can continue to write or call us with your questions, comments, or suggestions, because this show is not only for you, it is about you.
You can write to us at Time for Living, Post Office Box 8452, Boston, Massachusetts, 02114, or send a fax to 617-329-1774. If you don't feel like writing, you can always leave us a message on our voicemail at 800-232-7213.
Well, we hope you enjoyed today's show, and we look forward to seeing you again next week, and we'll certainly have more interesting people and places to introduce you to. Until then, remember, it's time for living.
Take care.
Bye.